My God, it's full of stars.
Hello, my droogies. Today we are going to do part two of the Project Rainbow, Project Phoenix, Project Montauk, and Project Rainbow. And the stuff I found yesterday and the day before, it's going to be a three-part series, definitely, if not a four-part series now. So one of the things I didn't mention last episode was Pegasus is also a star system. It's the Big Dipper, so it's full of stars. So we have the star connection right to Pegasus. It's a mythical horse, and it's Poseidon slash Neptune's horse. He's the god of all horses. It's also the Texaco Oil Company's symbol is the Pegasus, and we have all the color clues: Singing in the Rain and Clockwork Orange, and Over the Rainbow, Under the Rainbow. We have the rainbow haircuts that are seen in Clockwork Orange. We see all the different colors of the rainbow. And now this is going to blow your mind. So this little toy we're looking at here, it's a My Little Pony Pegasus pony. And people, alchemists, are using this to tell you that it's a Kubrick in your puzzle. So the toy itself is a Kubrick toy, and there it is with a bowler hat in it. So there we see a rainbow pony in a Clockwork Orange poster. Here's another rainbow pony riding the bomb. And now we have Rainbow Dash pony in the center with the milk glass in the Korova milk bar. And so let's take a look at My Little Pony. Why are we being pointed to My Little Pony?
My little pony, my little
So it's a
pony.
Kubrick.
Rainbow Dash is her name, and adventure is her game. A true hero. This
Rainbow.
rainbow-haired Pegasus pony
Pegasus.
is as fast as they come, flying through the air with jaw-dropping speed. Athletic, brave, and confident. Rainbow Dash is her name, and this rainbow-haired Pegasus pony. Rainbow Dash is her name, and this rainbow-haired Pegasus.
So they're
pony.
giving two names of the time travel program and one Kubrick. That is really clever. So it's the Rainbow Dash Pegasus Pony, Kubrick. And it's a unicorn, you know. How can you get any better? So you got Johnny Malkovich, the alchemist, Color Me Kubrick. Here we have all the ships that were sunk in Pearl Harbor. And we're giving clues to Pearl Harbor because Apollo 17 lands on December 7th, the actual date of the Pearl Harbor attack. And we're also giving clues to the names of the ships. We have the Arizona Biltmore, and we have the Tennessee Whiskey, which would be Jack Daniels. We have the West Virginia. It would be Admiral Byrd is a Virginian. You have the California. Marilyn Monroe is Queen of the Artichoke for California. You also have the California ship from the Titanic disaster. Here's the Discovery one. It's a ghost ship. Hal kills the crew. The Terra Nova, frozen in the ice. It's a ghost ship. The Robert Falcon Scott is frozen on his return. It's a ghost ship. The Erebus is lost in the ice. It's a ghost ship. So we have all these old sailing ships that are ghost ships. So we also have Pearl Harbor ships that are ghost ships. And Woody Strode, it was going to be the king of Hawaii, but they abolished that. So the Indianapolis delivers the bomb. So we have all these other boats and ships from the U.S. military that are named after presidents. You have the Ford, the Kennedy. So John Kennedy is a ship, and it's a president. And the Theodore Roosevelt, and the Lyndon Johnson. And we have the Arizona. Now, the Arizona is now a museum in Hawaii, and it's a ghost ship. And also, this carries on into Star Trek. So we have the USS Armstrong, and the Armstrong is a U.S. military ship class, as is the U.S. Collins, Armstrong, and Aldrin are all U.S. ship classes.
Is it okay? No, it's not. Come on. Hey, babe. You want to cut a rug?
So they're going to cut a rug. Rugs are used in our puzzle.
Babe. You want to cut a rug?
You have the rugs in The Overlook, the rugs in Toy Story. You have Buzz Aldrin, a Kubrick toy.
Shall we shag now or shall we shag later?
Shag carpet. Shag, the carpeting, the 3D simulated
Private pile. Private
pile, carpet pile.
Private pile. It's private pile. That's private pile. Private pile.
So they're cutting a rug, and I don't know the name of this song. I think it's Glenn Miller, but I'm not sure. And then we see the car. This car is being repeated over and over again. So it turns out it's a double suicide door vehicle. And it turns out a lot of these 1939 cars, all of them had, or a lot of them had the rear doors that were suicide doors. The Dodge and the Chevy had suicide doors in the back. So they keep showing us the same kind of car with the double suicide. And there it is driving by, and we know it's a double suicide door car because the two door handles are right together. Just like Kennedy's limo. Just like Dave has to break through the two doors of perception to get back into Discovery. It's always double doors. I don't know what song that is either. So we got California mentioned. David's from California. So you have the California from Pearl Harbor. California from the Titanic disaster, the ship that was supposed to recover them. So his father's a race car driver, which is another category I haven't covered before, but it's all the famous race car drivers.
This is Merry Christmas.
So here we have the holiday clues. Mr. Christmas
No way.
is in the movie.
That's great.
Eric Christmas. So you got Eric Christmas. He's Dr. Longstreet. And you have Keen Holiday. He's a TV detective from Matlock. Eric Christmas, the Holiday. And Merry Christmas. So we see the double suicide door car drive by. Get a glimpse of it. And let's see what else we got here. You got Dick Bush. They're polar opposites. Keen Holiday, a TV detective. I thought he had Indian blood in him, but I can't find a reference to that now, so I'm not going to say that. Chain smoking again. So they're leaving for the Philadelphia experiment, and he's waving to his wife, "Bye, Pam." And what kind of car is she driving? What kind of doors are on the car she drives? She's got the double suicide door car. I think it's a Chevy. There's a Dodge double suicide door. So it was common in that era to have that style sedan with the four doors and the rear ones open backwards, like the Kennedy limo. And like Josie Packard in Twin Peaks, the Packard has double suicide doors. And in the Green Hornet, they had the Lincoln with the double suicide doors. Double suicide doors, double suicide doors. So they're telling you this is a very taboo subject. That, you know. You got Johnny Carpenter. Wow, what are the odds, right? The One-Eyed Jack. He's a director, so all the directors are one-eyed.
Do you think the film has still some relevant
Chain
social
smoking.
commentary?
Oh, that's never ended. That's still with us. They Live is a documentary.
It's a documentary. That's weird. They got Roddy's tweets. He doesn't live much longer after this, by the way. Got Floyd Bennett was Bird's pilot. really gray to color. So we have a man coming up here, Douglas Curtis. So you have Kirk Douglas, Tony Curtis. You have Douglas Needles. So you have the Douglas fir tree needles is what the clue is. Kirk Douglas fir. Stuart Raffle, he's born on Lewis Carroll's birthday. We went over that at the beginning of the last video.
Worried about losing your job, Joe?
I'll believe it when I see him do it.
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, sir.
Everything in order? Yes, sir. Have you checked the communications link with Shaw? Yes, sir.
So he's giving you, clear as a bell, he's giving you clues to Bell. So we have the Liberty Bell capsule that sinks to the bottom of the ocean. It's the Mercury program. So Mercury, his attribute was his cap of invisibility, and of course he had wings on his hat and his feet. He flew, so you build better wings. There's the Molly Brown capsule. Mercury capsule does not sink.
Start the generators now, Captain.
Commence operations.
This is Sea Dog, the small boy.
Sea Dog, small boy.
Small boy. Activate Rainbow 1.
So you've got a boy and his dog, Alex Colville. It's the painting that's in The Shining in room 237. And here's a close-up of the actual painting, a boy and his dog in the St. John River. So it's another John. You got a boy and his dog, starring Don Johnson. This is a Harlan Ellison creation. He wrote the book. Harlan Ellison also writes The Terminator. Here we have Wendy Answers the Telephone. We have Carson City, a movie about tunneling through the mountain and from two directions at once. We have Woman and Terrier, so it's the opposite of boy and dog. Alex Colville, combat correspondent. He dies November 22nd. Stanley Kubrick's director's chair. Then we have Linda Hamilton. She has an identical twin. She's in the movie Terminator by Harlan Ellison. She also marries James Cameron, and we're using that wedding date in the puzzle.
You can start the generators now, Captain.
Commence operations.
So they're going to start the Rainbow, Project Rainbow.
Activate Rainbow 1.
Computer from digital with two separate microprocessors.
So just to slam it home, they're giving us Rainbow and computers, and this is going to be covered later on, but there's a whole thread of computers.
Where the rainbow ends.
Where the rainbow ends. I think he just said Roy Roger out, but so you have the Collins axe we see in the Eldridge. We see this in The Thing. We see it in a bunch of movies. They're using the Collins axe. The Shining we see it in. It's the Michael Collins axe. So they're on the ship, and they've turned the thing on. And they're about to see where the rainbow ends. So the ship turns invisible. So like I said before, one of the Greek gods, Mercury, his attribute is invisibility. So you have the Mercury in the vaccines. You have the Mercury Liberty Bell capsule sinks to the bottom of the ocean.
She's gone.
He has winged feet and a winged hat. So we're building better wings. His main attribute is his invisibility. His cap of invisibility.
This is an actual photograph of the USS Eldridge. It's an official one that was declassified in 1957. What I want you to realize is that Navy Lieutenants Hamilton and Van Allen right now are speaking to you.
Van Allen.
But they're giving you a warning about. But here is where the CEO is telling somebody, I wish to communicate with you. See that flag? See that flag right there? That's what this is. That's the color, and that's the meaning. Well, first thing he's doing is he's telling you to stop carrying out your intentions and watch for your signals. The third flag, he's telling you you are running into danger. And the fourth flag is saying, I'm on fire and have dangerous cargo. Keep clear. The third flag, he's telling you you are running into danger. And the fourth flag is saying, I'm on fire and have dangerous cargo. Keep clear. You read it from the top flag down. But this is the first one that you as the observer would have to pay attention to. And then you read the rest. This is the other photograph that was taken minutes either before or after the one that we just got and seen. And they're basically got the same signal flakes up. You just went behind the veil.
So the flags on the actual photograph are telling you that the ship is on fire. So in Kubrick's puzzle, we're given, you know, the pack of matches story, and the Overlook burns down, and the Burns twins, and the Collins fire axe, and all these clues to fire and smoking, and with the smoke there's fire, and the smoky bear rug, and all these different clues to smoking and fire. And then we find out, well, the Eldridge was on fire. But I think it was a different kind of fire than you're normally thinking about. So there it goes, invisible, just like Mercury the god.
They say the Eldridge is vanished.
Of course she has. She's radar invisible.
No, sir. She's really vanished.
So Mercury and Hermes are synonyms, and he's the messenger of the gods, and he has winged feet and winged hat, and it's his helmet of invisibility. So who does Marty represent in the movie Back to the Future? Mercury, the god who turns invisible. And we have the Mercury Liberty Bell that sinks, the Liberty Bell in Philly, which is where Rocky is filmed, and it's a horse. So they can't shut it down. So these guys are all having effects due to the changing time field around them. So if you can affect time, you can affect gravity. So it's all goes into the unified field theory, that at some point all these forces come together as one. So gravity is a lie. So Kubrick gives you the Falcon feather hammer drop on the moon to let you know that gravity is a joke, and that it's all electromagnetic. It's an electromagnetic field of some kind through the ether, is my guess. So they're chain smoking throughout the entire movie. Michael Paré is either lighting a cigarette, throwing a cigarette, or, you know,
We're still in Philadelphia.
or wishing he had one through the whole movie. This is a theme with alchemical movies of this chain smoking, just like The Shining. Wendy chain smokes in The Shining.
Isn't real.
It's the chainsaw.
They could have hypnotized us. Now, they do that to people, you know.
You're telling me this is my imagination? And we're now freezing our asses off out here? And they didn't try to kill us last night.
They wouldn't do that. It's all part of the experiment.
You think the Navy knows what they're doing? You saw the guys on the boat. This wasn't supposed to happen, Jimmy. This is a big mistake.
Exactly. So they were tunneling through in 1943, and they were tunneling through in 1984, and somehow they created a temporary wormhole between those two dates. And you can rest assured that if they did this once, they are not going to stop. This is too powerful. It's like the movie Lord of the Rings. Whoever has the ring can't be trusted. Whoever has access to time travel technology, really, no man has the ability to you know. So we see the Mirage Desert, like the Donners had across. Now we see the Mirage Sky going to the Sun Road, and the Wild Goose Island, and then we're going up the Sidewinder. So we see these impossible, perfectly mirrored, flat water pictures. You know, Jack has the mirrored lake photo that keeps, or the mirrored lake painting that's painted on a log slice above his bed, keeps moving, and then finally it disappears in the movies. It's a mirrored lake clue. So they're in a salt flat desert that's flooded right now, just like the Donner Party. So we have Lowenbrow, which means lion's brew. So we have all the cats that are in the puzzle.
Hey.
And we're using the sodas, the Coke, the Dr. Pepper, the...
It's so light. What the hell's it made of?
So he's looking at the aluminum can, and we're looking for the god Mercury and the lion's brew. And there's the old Chevy again. So we're the double suicide door Chevy again.
Heading right for us. Come on.
So we see the F-15 Tomcat or the F-15 Eagle. I'm not sure which one it is. They almost look identical. I think it's the Tomcat. So this would fit with Tomcat Cruise and the Cat's Clue, Tom and Jerry. Wendy has the Tom and Jerry mug, which would be Jerry Lewis. So there's the F-14 Tomcat, and here's an F-15 Eagle. So it's either an Eagle or a Tomcat. It doesn't really matter because both are in the puzzle. They give us clues to the radars, and the two ships were very different. And so they show us a picture of the actual radar tower that's fallen off the ship. So it's a little nod that, yeah, there were two ships. So the chopper explodes.
Just like a ghost ship, huh?
A ghost ship.
Just like a ghost ship, huh?
Yes.
Just like a ghost ship, huh?
Yes.
So we see the Eldridge has the wrong type of radar antenna on it, and we see it in the movie as well. This is the same tower that would have the right flag on it, all about the fire and stay away.
Security break.
TQ's checking into it, but I can guarantee you it's a mistake.
So
Not even a jackrabbit could get through this perimeter.
this thread here is overwhelming. So David Perret is a Playgirl model. He's in Playgirl twice with Nancy Allen talking about the movie, no less. And
Get your fat ass over there, Private Pile. Oh, that's right, Private Pile. Don't make any fucking effort to get up to the top of the fucking obstacle. If God wanted you up there, he would have miracled your ass up there by now, wouldn't he? Say it, sir. Get your fat ass up there, Pile. Say it. What the hell is the matter with you anyway? I bet you if there was some pussy up there on top of that obstacle, you could get up there, couldn't you? Say it, sir. I bet you if there was some pussy up there on top of that obstacle, you could get up there, couldn't you? Say it, sir.
How about the security break?
TQ's checking into it, but I can guarantee you it's a mistake. Not even a jackrabbit could get through this perimeter.
so Kubrick sprinkled pussy, and so you had Dick Bush seen at the beginning of the movie. So he sprinkled Dicks and Bush in his puzzle to make it more enticing for you to solve. So you have, here's the woman that's on Scatman's wall. She's a Playboy bunny. She's a Bond movie. She's in the Bond movie. Here she is again. She's the first black female love interest of James Bond. You have the Playboy magazine and Dr. Strangelove. Miss Scott. Scott's is a thread. You have Farrah Fawcett / Lee Majors, the $6 million man, lunchbox scene in Toy Story. You have Sharon Tate. She's Roman Polanski, Sharon Tate. She's a Playboy bunny. You have the Playboy bunny mission logs from Apollo 12. You have Azizi Johari, born on the 236th day. It's the 237th day in a leap year. She's in Scatman's wall. She's a Playboy bunny. You have Sharon Tate, a Playboy bunny. You have Michael Paré, a Playgirl Jack. You have Farrah Fawcett, a Playgirl bunny, Playboy bunny. She's married to Lee Majors. We have Coneheads, Dan Aykroyd is in Playboy. We have Gloria Hendry, a Playboy model. She's in the Bond series. She's in The Shining. We have a redheaded 6-foot Playboy bunny. We have Michael Paré, the Playgirl Jack. We have Smokey and the Bandit, Burt Reynolds, Playgirl Jack. And we have a triplet here. We have Diamond Dave. We have Ryan O'Neal. He's in Barry Lyndon. And, of course, we have the Bond series. All the Bond men are in the puzzle. You have Johnny Travolta. He's a jet plane pilot. Vincent, a motorcycle. You have the Rolling Stone magazine and the Rolling Stone Mick Jagger, born the same day Kubrick is. You have James Brolin. He's a Playgirl bunny. He's also in Capricorn 1. You have Rocky Sylvester Stallone, the Italian stallion. He's in Playgirl twice. He's a Playgirl Jack. You got Jack Nicholson, a Playgirl Jack. You've got Looney Tunes character, Playboy Bunny. So once I said before that all these categories will connect together. So where do you get Playboy and Looney Tunes? Well, there's a Playboy Penguin. He's the Looney Tunes. He's from the South Pole. And there's two versions of it, Frigid Hair and 8-Ball Bunny. Playboy Penguin is a Looney Tunes character. He's only in 2 episodes.
I bet you if there was some pussy up there on top of that obstacle, you could get up there, couldn't you?
So he's giving us pussy to get us to the obstacle. So there's Azizi Johari with the ball hair. We have the Playboy bunnies and the mission logs. You know, and don't forget, when they were on the moon, they were doing the bunny hop and the kangaroo hop.
Hippity hoppity, hippity hopping over hill and dale.
And the mission logs snuck into the Apollo 12 mission. And Jane Mansfield, she's in Playboy. She's on the Sgt. Pepper's album. You have Miss Scott, Playboy model, faux Playboy model. Then you have Lewis Carroll. Remember, the director of this movie, Stuart Raffle, is born on the same day as Lewis Carroll. We're following the White Rabbit. And Margaret, Playboy Bunny. Then you have Shelley Winters is in a movie called Playgirl. So that is bizarre. You have Michael J. Fox, Playgirl. Jack, he's Mr. Parkinson's. And you have the first Playboy Bunny ever, Marilyn Monroe, Queen of the Artichoke, Joe DiMaggio's Queen. And, of course, Jack carries the Playgirl magazine in The Shining. It's the New Year's edition. It's a holiday clue. Danny's birthday, Salinger's birthday. And if the whopper of all the whoppers, the Philadelphia experiment ship has been renamed the Leon, which means lion, which is a zodiac. And it's in the Greek edition of Playboy. Not all the Playboys, only the Greek edition, because we're talking about Greek Odysseys. And this is the crescendo. A cut scene from Back to the Future.
A whole lot better.
And Doc Brown's looking at the
okay,
Playboy.
Doc's ready. Come here.
So that's a slam dunk in my case. In my mind, that's a slam dunk. The Jackrabbit. So they're talking about the Jackrabbit, and what are they looking at? They're looking at the feed horn for the mast on the ship, which we know was different from the real Eldridge. There was two different ships. So they're giving you clues to the feed horn, and they're discussing the cable that connects to the feed horn and saying they haven't seen anything like it in 30 years. So clearly it had a different radar. And we see the vortex, the whirlpool, the tornado. So it's just like the movie, you know, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and you have the tornado coming in. And when they go into the cafe, the Chevron, we see the Chevron oil all the time. See that in The Thing as well. We've seen Chevron oil. And now we get to see the Charger, Challenger, Roadrunner, Sebring. And so they're out. I think this is Utah they're in, which would be another ship from the Pearl Harbor disaster. And they don't know what to make of these people. They're like, what the hell? So they're driving a Challenger or Charger. So the Charger, the Challenger, the Roadrunner, and the Chrysler Sebring are all the same car. And also you have the Superbird from Dick Petty, a race car driver. So they go in the diner, and it's very difficult to see because it's such a crappy copy that I have of this. But it's the Lunar Lander video game he's playing. And if somebody knows what movie this is on TV, she's got the tiara, the corona. I don't know what movie it is, but it's some kind of monster movie. I'm sure it's interlaced to this puzzle. So we see the Lunar Lander game and the Battle Zone game. And I believe it's a tank game, a tracked vehicle.
Yeah, sounds good.
And they're having coffee again in the cafe. Joe DiMaggio, Mr. Coffee, Yankee Clipper.
So, what's the name of this place?
Scotty's Junction. You won't find it on any map, I can tell you that.
Nevada. So Nevada is one of the ships that sank in Pearl Harbor.
Not that I know of. Just the base up at Dry Wells.
So Dry Wells. Roswell, translated from German to English, is mighty horse. So we have another horse like Pegasus. One of the rainbow Pegasus ponies. So he's going to make a phone call now. So you get the lunar lander and battle zone. So he realizes the TV is just a joke.
You gave the job to somebody else?
And I believe it's a Chevy Nova behind the telephone we're going to see in a few seconds here. You only see it for a split second, though. And a Nova is, you know, it's a supernova. It's a star.
Of course I'm upset. I've been driving for 2 days. No, I don't want to come stay with you.
So there's the chopper again. Zed, you know, Zed's dead. We're chopping, we're clipping, we're cutting, we're the Yankee Clipper, the Pan Am Space Clipper. So if somebody knows what movie this is, it's some kind of monster movie, I'd really love to know, because I'm sure there's something alchemical about it. So Tesla was the king of lightning. And we're going to get into Tesla in the next video. I don't want to start it in this one because it's just going to confuse you. And really, this video is still just the setup of the message in these films. And there are messages in these films, aside from the fact that we have a time machine. There are messages in these films that violate causality. And video 3 is, I'm going to get into that. But I want to establish that this is a definitive. So here we have the lightning, and it's hitting the video games. And of course, the first video game ever made was Pong, you know, which is in our puzzle. We have Ping and Pong, Rowan Ping Pong. So we saw the Nova for a split second there. It's a Chevy Nova. We got the Grand Torino. Later in the movie, they drive the Jeep Grand Cherokee wagon, 4-wheel drive. And his father is a race car driver, and when there's a category of race car drivers, Steve McQueen, King of Cool, is one of them.
What about the war?
And Paul Newman, I'm sure, is in there.
World War II, Germany and Japan.
So it's World War II, and we're talking about Pearl Harbor and the ships in Pearl Harbor. And Philly.
How far to the next town?
I don't know.
Hey, do you have any cigarettes?
No, I quit last month.
So we have the smoking clue, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. Here we have a great demonstration of perspective and how your sight is not unlimited, even on a relatively, although this is a hill, but it does the same thing on a flat plane. It's inside the zone. The zone is a new thread I just found. And it's bizarre, but it's the zone.
It's as if every storm front in the region were being sucked into this one tiny zone. We have 3 separate reports of tornadoes, and that doesn't happen here.
So these are clues into that this technology can be used to manipulate the weather as well. You know, sometimes they time travel with it, other times they just cause a drought.
There was a security break. At least 2 men were in the area of the experiment when it took place. I've put out a full alert.
So much for the jackrabbit theory.
So the jackrabbits is a clue to the Playboy bunnies and hares, and it's also a clue to all the jacks in the puzzle, which I've gone over this before in other videos, but it's good to hammer this home because this is one of the largest threads in the entire puzzle, is all things jack.
But I thought you should know there was a security break. At least 2 men were in the area of the experiment when it took place.
And of course, Jack Whiteside Parsons is involved in Thiacal, the tracked vehicle that we see in The Shining. He's involved in JPL Labs. That's what it's, you know, it's supposed to be the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but they make rockets, so it makes no sense. It's the Jack Parsons Labs is why it was JPL. And then you have all the grand clues which fit right into this, including the grand unified theory, which is Einstein. And we get the one-eyed jacks. You know, there's my little, I don't know why it's doing that. Why is it doing all those things? Anyway. Oh, this is a video I put in here. I didn't even realize that. But you get all the one-eyed jacks in the puzzle. And in the next, and I know there's going to be 4 parts because I have enough already to do a 40-minute part 2, and then I have an entire movie on the end of that which has partial decodes in it So it's at least going to be 2 more parts on the Phoenix, Montauk, Philadelphia, Rainbow. Those are the 4 different names for this puzzle. And then we have the One-Eyed Jack. He's changing colors like the rainbow. And what else? I got so many subscribers in that last video, it's ridiculous. So I think people are finally, excuse me, finally learning this language, and it's freaking them out a little. And I guarantee these 4 videos, out of the entire series as a whole, these last 4 videos are going to be the most mind-blowing. Here's some more alchemical art. So it's red room salt. When it rains, it pours. You have the Phoenix, you know. What else did I want to say? So, the other thread that which we're going to get into in the next video is the computer thread. And it begins with IBM/HAL. HAL incremented 1 letter as IBM. And so there's the ship, the Hornet, with Tricky Dick. So Tricky Dick was involved in this. There's the Liberty Bell. And I believe Diglaka is going to be in the puzzle too, but I haven't done any research on it, so I don't really want to put it in yet. MJ12 is clearly, you know, there's King of Cool race car driver. Bullet was the movie. There's Neptune's Trident, the Phoenix Lander. What else is in here? You know, Sidewinders Leave Tracks. Nikola Tesla. He is going to be covered in our next video. And he is the king to the whole thing. He is the one that found out about this effect. And I believe that's him in the final shot, July 4th photo. And he's the master of lightning. So we had red lightning and white lightning and Joe Lightning Collins. So we have lightning in our puzzle. It's Jupiter's attribute. It's how he defeats Saturn, the god of time. And this thing with the rainbow Pegasus pony, that's pure genius. I love it, man. So one of the things you guys should be looking for now is go online and go to images and do Kubrick fan art and look at it, and you're going to start understanding what's going on there. And that's it, guys. Have a great night. Carpe diem. And part 3, I don't think it'll be out tomorrow, probably Monday afternoon or Tuesday. It's as good or better than the first 2 parts of this, because at that point we're not really looking at clues in the movie. We're looking at clues in the movie that are pointing to real events, and they're predicting the real events by decades. And that's it, guys. Have a great night.